आंख बंद किया, ABCD, कुछ तो सही होगा, या B, that is one formula. Hey, Asha, Vanita, good morning. Right? Never try this approach. Sometimes students, what student does, B, चार B मारेंगे, एक B तो सही होगा, राइट? तो नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव सब बराबर हो जाएगा, बट आपका हो जाता है साबा नीलवट्टा सन्नाटा। क्या मूवी भी है ना नीलवट्टा सन्नाटा? हाँ पूछो, डाउट पूछो। वेरी गुड, गुड क्वेश्चन। अभी 1 मिनट में रिस्पॉन्ड देता हूँ, थोड़ा सा डेट टाइम वगैरह लिख लूं। राहुल ने सवाल पूछा है कि एक्चुअली वी टॉक अबाउट SCs and STs, right? And do we talk about SC and STs within the Hindu fold, right? Or is it that this category also allowed, in another community? Yeah? Yeah, na? For example, if you look at Islam, or if you look at Christianity, Christianity or Sikh, right? Or Buddhist. Or Jain, right? Does it that SCST also there? Let me tell you. Here yes, here yes, here yes, here yes. Here may not basically. Right? Now, what about SC of the, if you know that initially SC was categorized, those classes who were deprived under the Government of India Act 1935. अब जब पूछे हो तो सुनो. In 1950 there was a presidential order. The order name was Presidential Order 1950. Every order is a law. I've taught you law, right? And this order actually, it is order about SC, not ST. Let me tell you, it was about SC, not ST. So if you look at ST, who are converted to Christianity, have been recognized by the Government of India Act 1935, right? Now, Presidential Order 1950 recognized SC who are those only within the Hindu fold. Right? Now there's a huge protest. Why? If you look at 1955, Dr. Ambedkar, converted from Hinduism to Buddhism along with his, supporters. It was on, more than that. Now what happened? The Buddhists remain excluded from the SC. Now Buddhists actually they are called Neo-Buddhist. They are called Neo-Buddhist and they protested. Now this order was amended again. Now if you look at the Neo-Buddhist was included under this. But those who remain outside like SC within Islam are not treated as a SC. SC within Islam are not treated as a SC or SC who converted during the colonial time. They were not recognized as a SC. And there is a demand, right, that the Muslim SC and Christian SC are actually, have launched a movement, right? They are doing protests. They are actually aligning with the government, right? and they are making claim that we are also SC, right? And reservation of the benefit of reservation should reach also to those SC who have already converted either to Islam or either to Christianity. Now that has been not recognized yet. सिख का हो चुका है, सिख का already है इसमें. Those SCs who are in Muslim community or the Christianity, they are not recognized as a SC. तभी अब आप देखेंगे कि उनको बोलते हैं कि आप कन्वर्जन कर लो, घर वापसी कर लो, we will recognize you. Let me, जब बातें चली है तो let me tell you more about this. Now ST are Christians. ST Christians are recognized. They are getting benefit out of the reservation. Now there is a new movement, you can say, that the ST who had not been converted, right, the Hindu ST, who are making claim that exclude this Christian ST from the ST list. It is called delisting. आपने अगर पढ़ा होगा कुछ दिन पहले हिंदू में आया था. It was a new issue that was raised just after 3 years. Just after 3 years. Right? और मैंने 3 साल पहले स्टूडेंट को बोल दिया कि देखो नया मुद्दा आने वाला है. And मुद्दा was descheduling or delisting. Delist all the ST who are actually Christian. And benefits should go to the ST who are already, preserved the culture, their tradition. That was a demand. Let me tell you, this demand was generated, manufactured. Now, what is the ground on which there is a claim, exclude ST of Christian? The claim is that when they have converted, they have got benefit from the missionaries. They have got education from the missionary, right? Sometime, shelter also, right? Material benefit. But, they are highly educated and they have already actually represented well in the government jobs, educational institutions. So therefore, you exclude ST, right? And new groups are claiming for the ST claim. The new community are claiming for ST claim, like Mighty community. Have you heard of Mighty community? सुना है शिवा? Mighty community? क्या है विनय? What is Mighty? You have heard Mighty. It's not tribal. Manipuriya. It is a group, it is a dominant community in Manipur, right? Who are claiming, for ST status, right? And there was another group called Kuki, Jomi in Manipur. Look at Manipur is burning from the last 7-8 months, right? And there's a very, violent conflict between Mighty community and Kuki community. Now, yesterday, अगर आपने news पढ़ा होगा, the police is protesting in Manipur. Police protest कर रहा है, मुझे बचाओ. Look, police in Manipur protesting, save me. Now, so who will say police? Police is to save the general people right now. Now, police is demanding to save us from the dominant Mighty radical groups. Right? Mighty, sometimes they become, there are the insurgent Mighty, there are radical Mighty, they are actually using violence. Right? Kuki actually countering to it. Now, Kuki is Christian. Kuki is Christian. And in Manipur, Kuki is in minority. They are living on the hill area, while Mighty living in the plain area. Right? Mighty and had traditional dominance, right? Their kingdom was ruled by the Mighty community. Kuki, it is perceived, is a migrator from neighboring area, right? Or somehow it is migratory from the Myanmar. Now, you know, our Home Ministry have said mighty and cookie and Joe community. Yes, Vanita. Right now, our Prime Minister, Home Minister has said we will make fencing. We will fence our border along with the Myanmar. Now, Mizoram has passed a resolution in the House. ये ध्यान रखो, न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हो ना कि मैं 2 4 5 दिन पहले की बात बता रहा हूं, सारा घटना. Right? The Mizoram passed a resolution against this government announcement. There should be no fencing on the Myanmar border, India border. Why? Because if you look at border are porous. Porous है, porous मतलब border थोड़ा सा blurred है and culture बहुत cultural affinity है. शादी रोटी बेटी की relationship है. शादी खाना पीना जाना आना. Look at Nepal India border. Right? Nepal India border पे there are roti beti relations. Right? उनके यहाँ कुछ होता है उधर से लोग जाते हैं, इनके यहाँ कुछ होता है इधर से लोग आते हैं. Right? ठीक है? So that is the thing. Now Cookie is protesting against the demand made by the mighty community to be included in the ST list. Root cause of the conflict is this, but there are many causes behind it. The religious division. Cookies are Christians and Maitis are. आपको दिया है क्या उसमें? नहीं, अब next notes मिलेगा. There'll be detailed explanation on it. Got the idea? So if you look at SC status of Islam is not recognized, or Christianity is not recognized. However, ST never converted to Islam. एक आध हो तो अलग बात है. ST converted to Christianity. That had been recognized. Now there is a demand of delisting them from the scheduled tribe. समझ में आया? चलो और कुछ? चलो. Yeah, any doubt? Yes, Vanita, Asha, any question if you have? No, sir? Okay. So should we begin? With yesterday, कल हमने क्या पढ़ा था? नहीं, EWS से पहले मैं कुछ और पढ़ाऊंगा. Then I'll talk about EWS. Quota within quota हो गया. Now look at, if you see, initially Article 16 actually, have given reservation in jobs, right, in the government institution. What the idea? Now later on, what happened since 1990? If you look at since 1990, there's a lot of change in India. There was a liberalization, privatization, and globalization. 1990 was known as, actually you can say that a rupture from the past. Rupture मतलब होता है a complete breakup, but there was a continuity. For example, in 1990, if you look at international level, there was a collapse of USSR. There's a old Cold War ended basically. Now, if you look at, in India, there was a lot of changes happened. In India, Indian politics was called as a 3M: Mandir, Market, and Mandala. Mandir, Market, and Mandal. Mandal means caste politics. If you look at 1990, is characterized by 3 types of dominant politics in India. One was the caste politics. Second was the religious politics. And market was liberalization. Three were the very dominant. However, another factor was also, for example, look at in 1990, there was a democratic decentralization. 1973rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Right? Now, come to the reservation sector, the Mandal. Now, if you look at, due to liberalization, privatization, and globalization, Now what happened? The state withdrew from social experiment. State withdrew from schools. State withdrew from hospitals. Now private sector entered. Right? There was an expansion of market. There was an expansion of market, new jobs provided by market. State started withdrawing from generating jobs. 1950 में देख लीजिए, 1950 में स्टेट वाज अ जनरेटिंग जॉब बेसिकली. गवर्नमेंट जॉब मिलना बहुत आसान था, मिल जाता था, थोड़ा पढ़ने के लिए मिल जाता था. Now it has become so difficult. Only few sectors are opened now. नहीं, सब प्राइवेट हो गया है. Right? Now, when things have become private, there is a private company, then in private company, there was a no reservation. There was a no reservation. But if you look at the caste mandal politics made a demand. Mandal politics made a demand that reservation should be provided by the private organization too. Because private organization actually does discrimination on the basis of caste. Got the idea? Now the state, first time Karnataka. Karnataka is a state actually which responded with reservation in private sector. It was Karnataka which provided reservation in private sector. Now, this decision of the Karnataka government was challenged in the court, and the court in two cases, one is TMA Pi case, and another was PA Inamdar. PA Inamdar case. In this two case judgment, Supreme Court held that the state, the private state cannot provide reservation in the private sector. This is a violation of Article 19 Clause G, freedom of profession. मान लीजिए किसी ने कंपनी खोला है, money has opened a new company, and now you will say that give reservation, then how he will recruit? It will directly, affect the efficiency of the organization according to money. So why state force money to give reservation to, SC, ST or so whatever. Now he had challenged the decision of the government in the court. Now court decided in two cases, TMA Pi and PN Inamdar case, that the government cannot provide, reservation in private sector, as it violates Article 19 Clause G, right to profession or freedom of profession. Now what happened? The government responded with another constitutional amendment act. The government responded with another constitutional amendment act, and that was, किसी ने पढ़ा है इसको? Yeah, 93rd constitutional amendment act. Government responded with 93rd CAA. Right? 93rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Right? And then what happened? It inserted clause 5 of Article 15. Right? Now, if you see Article clause 5 of 15, it says, the reservation can be provided including in private organization, whether aided or unaided by the state. It does not matter whether the state gives fund, right? Aid मतलब help, right? वो करे या ना करे, आपको देना पड़ेगा. Now again this 793rd CAA was challenged in the court. ये होता रहता है, government, ये लड़ाई दोनों का मतलब होता रहता है, right? Every time you can see court judgment. Anytime if you see the new law passed by the parliament. Let me tell you the new law that would be passed very recently. 10 दिन के अंदर आ जाएगा. One nation, one election. There will be new insertion in the इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, हम एक ही बार इलेक्शन करेंगे। हाँ, we will not involve election again and again। क्या कुछ भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी, अच्छा कुछ भी हो सकता है। तो और मैं बता रहा हूं, फ्रीडम हाउस का रिपोर्ट आया है, कल ही आया है। फ्रीडम हाउस रिपोर्ट आया है, थोड़ा सा थोड़ा मन करे तो कभी पढ़ लेना तो क्या कहता है, उसके बाद वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन अपने आप समझ में आ जाएगा। राइट, अभी कल ही या परसों आया है, मेरे पास कल आया है। राइट, आई हैव नॉट स्टडीड एंटायरली, देयर आर 39 पेजेस रिपोर्ट, ज्यादा नहीं है। क्या बात कर, तो 39 पेज नहीं पढ़ सकते तो फिर क्या, इतना मोटा मोटा फाइल कैसे पढ़ोगे गवर्नमेंट में? नहीं, दैट इज रॉन्ग। नो, द ब्यूरोक्रेट वो दूसरा डॉक्यूमेंटिंग जो उसको रिकॉर्ड करना, ये करना, वो करना। आपको पढ़ना, डिसीजन आपको लेना है। पढ़ना आपको, फाइल ऐसे साइन कर दोगे, बोलोगे तुम पढ़ लो, वो कुछ नहीं पढ़ेगा, बाद में आप फंसोगे। यू हैव टू रीड द फाइल और यू हैव टू से कि समरी बना के दो। दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रिसीजन। यू हैव टू लर्न प्रिसीजन। यू नो प्रिसीजन, प्रिसाइज करना उसको, यू हैव टू लर्न। उसको बोलो प्रिसीजन करके दो। दैट इज, आपका ऑफिसर बोलेगा इतना मोटा फाइल दे देगा, बड़े प्रिसीजन करके लाओ। आप क्या बोलोगे, आप डेलीगेट कर दोगे अपना काम? नो, यू हैव टू डू। वापस ऐसा नहीं होता, नहीं है। राइट, आपको काम करना पड़ेगा, बहुत काम करते हैं, बहुत काम करना होता है। राइट, इंडियन ब्यूरोक्रेट्स डू अ लॉट्स ऑफ वर्क। राइट, ऐसे देश नहीं चल रहा है। जिंदगी में काम करो ना तो मन लगना चाहिए बस, और कुछ नहीं है। टाइम का पता नहीं चलता है। राइट, किसी को फ्लूट बजाने में मजा आता है, बस वो फ्लूट पकड़ा तो उसको पता नहीं चला 1 घंटा कब निकल गया। If someone wants to play तबला, right, no one, वो उसको पता नहीं कि कब लग गया। इसी तरह होना चाहिए, अगर आपने ये पकड़ लिया तो पता नहीं चलने टाइम का चला गया और पढ़ लिया आपने। Speed up your reading capacity. Speed up your reading capacity and it will be gradually. Don't think कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि मैं मैच्योर हो जाऊंगा। कभी कभी लगता है ना, आई एम लिटिल चाइल्डिश, मैं, ऐसा होता नहीं है। बड़े लोग, ये सर जो है ना, अपने आप ऐसे, सर इतना बड़ा मैं भी हो जाऊंगा तो मैं भी ऐसे बोलूंगा, ऐसे पढ़ लूंगा। आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा। राइट, और ये 39 पेजेस है, 1.5 या 2 घंटे का मैक्सिमम टाइम है। यू कैन रीड इट वेरी इजिली, कंक्लूड इट वेरी इजिली। राइट, तो ऐसा नहीं है, डू बी ए गुड रीडर, राइट, एंड बी ए गुड राइटर ऑल्सो। उस पे अपना कमेंट भी लिखना सीखो। एनीवे, सो वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन आएगा तो यही इलेक्शन ये बात करेगा कि व्हाई डेमोक्रेसी इज डिक्लाइनिंग। दिस इज अ 28th years where the democracy is declining continuously, right? And one of the element of the decline is the electoral fraud. Now each country is mentoring, dismantling election process. ठीक है, तो अभी नया आने वाला है, तो पार्लियामेंट कुछ करती रहती है, बट यू हैव टू कीप आई ऑन पार्लियामेंट, parliamentary law, right? And also you have to keep eye on the Supreme Court, the High Court, which gives judgment. Recently there is a new judgment on electoral bond, है ना, अनबाउंड कर दिया इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड को। ठीक है, इट इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, राइट? सो कीप रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर। ठीक है, चलो, तो मैं अच्छा बात कर रहा था 93rd CAA, and I told you that it was challenged in the court. In the court, in Ashok Kumar Thakur versus Union of India case, Supreme Court validated the 93rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Now, now there is a reservation in private sector. There is a reservation in private sector. Look at private reservation in private school. Look at reservation in private school. Now, if you look at the UPA government has provided right to education, right? Right to education act, but इसका long history है. 1990 मैंने बोला 1990 was actually a time which was transforming many things. Sorry? Watershed movement, you can say that. And in 1990, if you look at many NGO, many civil society groups claimed that right to education should be fundamental right. Right to education should be a fundamental right, and they filed a PIL. You know PIL, public interest litigation. You can also file PIL. Anyone can file PIL. You don't need to be a lawyer in order to file a PIL. In 1990, someone filed a PIL in the court. It was a Andhra Pradesh High Court, right? His name was J.P. Unikrishnan. In that case, Supreme Court held that right to education should be is a fundamental right under the Article 21. Now there was a more claim. Once Supreme Court has recognized, then there was a claim, okay, right to education should be given, right? And there's so many committee actually set up by the government. And finally, you have Right to Education Act 2009, which provided how many percent? 25% reservation to the economically and social background children in the private school. है ना? जो 25% सीट है ना, कोई भी प्राइवेट स्कूल है, सी द प्राइवेट स्कूल, राइट? नियरेस्ट प्राइवेट स्कूल कौन सा है सबसे अच्छा? कभी स्कूल पे ध्यान दिया? बहुत सारे बच्चे घूमते रहते हैं, पता है कौन से स्कूल से आते हैं? क्या नाम है? यस, रामजस स्कूल है, यस रामजस है, स्प्रिंगडल्स है, बाल भारती है, सब आपके बगल में है. पता होना चाहिए, जहां आप रह रहे हो ना, पता होना चाहिए वहां पर क्या है, नहीं है क्या. दैट्स कॉल्ड ऑब्जर्वेशन, राइट? यू कीप ऑब्जर्व कि क्या है. जाते जाते हमने होते ना, कभी कभी हम एक्चुअली खुद में चल रहे होते, पता नहीं है, बट you need to observe society, you need to observe where you are staying, right? Anyway, now that was reservation was given to the private school. Yeah. See what happened since 1990. I told you that government withdrew from the social spending. Government withdrew from health, education, and private sector entered. Before 1990, we had only few private schools. नाम आप उसको गिन सकते हो. Now, after 1990, you see the expansion of private schools. It mushroomed basically, right? Even the teacher who is teaching in the government school, not willing to admit their own children in that school, क्योंकि उसको पता है ना मैं पढ़ाता हूँ ना कोई और टीचर पढ़ाता है, वो पता है उसको, right? Now, who send the word in the government school, especially in North India? Southern India condition is better. Delhi's condition is better comparative to UP and Bihar. Now, who are not able to even feed themselves, those who are sending their children to the government schools. अगर किसी को खाना से पैसा मिल गया ना, तो दूसरा जो खर्चा है ना, जो नेक्स्ट स्पेंडिंग है, वो एजुकेशन पे करता है. नहीं करता है. That was the importance of education, and that was awareness. That is awareness among the society. Anyway, so Kerala government का हो सकता है, मुझे पता नहीं, देखेंगे बाद में. Did you get the idea of reservation in private sector? Yeah. So जो टॉपिक है रिजर्वेशन इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर, इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर, इसका डिबेट पता चल गया. नाउ लिखवा दूं या लिख लोगे, ये बताओ. नोट्स में है, समझा दिया, आप इतना काम कर लोगे खुद, है ना? या नहीं करोगे तो बताओ, मैं डिक्टेशन करा देता हूं. आई होप कर लोगे, राइट? तो हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Yes, Asha, Vanita, reservation in private sector. Would you able to make notes out of it? The notes which I have given to you. मैंने जो भी कहा उसमें है, राइट? कुछ एक्स्ट्रा कह देता हूं, नहीं तो क्लास भी नहीं आओगे, वो जरूरी है. Vinay, will you able to make notes? Shiva, are you making notes every day? Are you making? Yeah. Do make notes every day, you. Okay. Now we have finished article 17. One more thing component have left out. The one is whether reservation had been given on the social and educational background or also the economic background. This is the one major question is left to answer. Whether reservation has been given on the grounds of social and educational background, educational backwardness, or also on the ground of economic backwardness. This is a question, right? क्या ये क्राइटेरिया है या ये भी क्राइटेरिया है? मैं आपको बता दे दूं, इनिशियली even the government position was, and the Supreme Court validated. Okay, Supreme Court validated. Look at the first Constitutional Amendment Act after the Champakam Dorairajan, case. Supreme Court validated. Okay, you can give reservation on the basis of social and educational backwardness, right? Now, it was the first time Bihar government, right? In Bihar, there was one commission called Mungeri Lal Commission, right? Mungeri Lal was from lower caste. And that time, Karpuri Thakur was a chief minister. You know Karpuri Thakur, who received Bharat Ratna recently? Karpuri Thakur, he was a great leader, right? He used to travel, he used to walk every day 8 to 10 kilometers to go to school, right? He was a ground leader anyway. Now look at what happened. His government decided to set up committee and then give reservation. Now Mungeri Lal Commission was the first who implemented or who gave reservation to give 27%. Mungeri Lal Commission recommended 27% reservation to OBCs and also 3% reservation to the upper caste and 2% reservation to women, right? Now, if you look at, there was an uproar among the upper caste, and who held, that Bal na katab, kapar katab. There is a one very popular statement, Bal na katab, kapar katab. It means, Thakur, Karpuri Thakur, he belonged to Nai caste, who cut the hair, basically. Now he implemented reservation. Now upper caste responded, now he will not cut our bal, our hair, he will cut our head. Right? Now let me tell you that reservation never implemented in Bihar. It was a recommendation. Right? Now, if you, I told you that BP Mandal, BP Singh, what BP Singh did. BP Singh tried to implement OBC reservation. And there was a uproar among the upper caste, right? This is something wrong. Now it was Narasimha Rao who provided reservation to OBC, 27% reservation to OBC and 10% reservation to AWS. Okay? Which is actually neglected by Mandal Commission, Mandal case. Supreme Court in Mandal case said no, economy should not be criteria, right? Reservation is not something poverty eradication program. Economy should not be criteria for the reservation. Making sense? Right? Now later on in few judgment, ये जो किताब है इसको पढ़िएगा. आज मैं पढ़ रहा था, वेरी डीप, अच्छे से दिया हुआ है. आर्टिकल 15 में 4 पेज दिया हुआ है. यू रीड दैट, क्या हुआ आर्टिकल 15 में, राइट, 16 में क्या हुआ, इसको पढ़िए अच्छे से कि कहां क्या हुआ. नाउ इफ यू लुक एट लेटर ऑन, सुप्रीम कोर्ट said that no, reservation can be given on the not only the social and economic background criteria, sorry, a social and educational background, but also on the basis of economic backwardness. And that judgment was, let me tell you, that was judgment basis of reservation. Yeah. अभी ढूंढूंगा, नहीं मिलेगा मुझे पता है. Anyway, छोड़ो, मैं ढूंढ भी नहीं रहा. But later on, Supreme Court held that reservation can be given, on the basis of economic criteria. Right? Now, if you see the, the central government actually did 103rd CAA, and now 10% reservation had been given to EWS. वो ईडब्ल्यूएस क्राइटेरिया बाद में करेंगे, बट वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट था कि नहीं, पुअर हैज नो कास्ट, पुअर इज आल्सो पुअर, राइट? सो इकोनॉमी शुड बी द क्राइटेरिया, कैन बी द क्राइटेरिया फॉर द रिजर्वेशन. Earlier it was opposed. Earlier Supreme Court was opposing it. Right? Now in 2019, so if you look at Parliament passed 173rd CAA, which provided 10% reservation to EWS. Now this was challenged in the court. This decision of the government was challenged in the court. Right? Now look at the court. Court had actually legitimized 173rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Right? The court was legitimate, Supreme Court legitimized the 173rd CAA. 130 है ना? नहीं अच्छा 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act. यही कहानी है EWS का. Now the court judgment was actually again filed in the court, called review petition. Have you heard about review petition? Every judgment can be challenged. Every judgment of the Supreme Court can be challenged. Where? In the Supreme Court itself. That is called review petition. Now, review petition was filed in the court against the Supreme Court judgment. Now, Supreme Court said we cannot reconsider this. Okay, it is a valid. So, Supreme Court rejected to review the judgment it has given. Right? Now, there are 10% reservation to EWS. Yeah? Gender basis. A few states are giving gender. Now, Bihar had given, Uttarakhand had been given. I agree with. Gender based पे होना चाहिए. ना उसको हॉरिजॉन्टल कर दो. Yes, मान लो कि 15% रिजर्वेशन टू SC है. इसमें within 15% you can give woman. I agree with you. समझ में आया? EWS reservation. Money, did you get the idea? कुछ पूछना है? No? तो ये भी लिख लोगे? ठीक है? ये सवाल है, इसके आंसर आपको 4-5 लाइन में लिखना है और कुछ नहीं करना है. उतना ही जानना है हमको. ठीक है? इसका और लेंथ नहीं जानना है. Now I'll talk about 17th article number 17. आज खत्म हो गया राइट की इक्वालिटी. कब कुछ है भी नहीं. I have already set the paper. There are 30 questions, right? एंड आप 30 मिनट्स में आराम से कर लोगे. आई हैव गिवन 40 मिनट्स टू यू. ठीक है, 30 मिनट्स इज सफिशिएंट फॉर अटेम्प्टिंग द क्वेश्चंस. अब बताओ समझ में आया कि नहीं आया. नाउ इस ये जो मैंने बैराग दिया है खुद से पढ़ना. कहीं पे कंफ्यूजन हो तो मुझसे जरूर पूछना. राइट, वी कैन डिस्कस इन द क्लास. या वनिता, आशा, am I making sense? अच्छा, कैरी फॉरवर्ड रूल बता दिया था ना मैंने. इट्स गुड वन एक्चुअली, बहुत अच्छे से दिया हुआ है. बेसिस ऑफ रिजर्वेशन, आर्टिकल 16 देखिए ना. मैं भी आपके साथ ही पढ़ रहा हूँ. सब अमराज नागराज केस, लक्ष्मी नारायण गुप्ता केस सब दिया हुआ है. One more thing am I finding that is new for me and of course new for you, that reservation in promotion was given also to the PWD. That is State of Kerala versus Lisa Ma Joseph, 2021. Right? The Supreme Court upheld that reservation in promotion should be given to the PWD if originally they have not been appointed in PW quota. समझ में आया? If reservation had not been given in initial appointment to the PWD, then reservation in promotion should be given to the PWD. ठीक है? So done. ये हो गया. So till Article 16 we have done. Article 22 तक कैसे चलेगा? धीरे धीरे आराम से, right? Different themes we will discuss. Now let me begin with Article 70, which is abolition of untouchability. You know untouchability? What it is? छुआ-छूतिया, उसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं. बस इसका मतलब क्या है? I will. Sorry? Can't be touched. Why? Why they are polluted? Why they are impure? If you look at, yeah, you are coming, good, Sonali, go ahead. They are doing? Yeah. So if you look at the caste is, ladder-based society, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Avarna, right? And if you look at, it is said that it was based on occupations. Caste is occupational based associations, but it is a top-down view. It is a dominant view, right? It is a Gandhi view. The caste is actually a specialization of labor, right? Or a specialization of functions, right? Each caste has their own functions, but Ambedkar does not agree with it, right? He argued, it is a division of laborer. Now come to the Avarna, which is untouchable, right? Why they are untouchable? Someone said because they were considered as a polluted. Why they are considered polluted or impure? Why? Right, Sonali ne kaha ki because they dealt with certain work which considered as a inferior or demeaning or the polluted. like dealing with dead bodies, right? Now, why they were dealing with dead bodies? Why they were doing such work? Right? For example, carrying the human excreta, right? कोई चाहेगा ऐसा काम करना? चाहेगा क्या? Why? क्यों कर दिया सोसाइटी ने अलग इनको? या धर्म, चतुर्वर्ण धर्म, right? But what was that concept? ठीक है, अब मैं नया चीज बताता हूँ, सबको पता है ये सब चीज, आपको बहुत थोड़ा और बताता हूँ. Theory of broken man, theory of broken man, Brahmin, beef and broken man. This is a text written by Ambedkar, right? अब बताता हूँ क्या हुआ. Now, initially, in initial phase, if you see, everyone was a migrator. नहीं, हम यहाँ से यहाँ जाते थे. Now, initially, what happened in initial phase, there was settling. Few people settled. Now, again, then there was a migration was going on. And there was always conflict between the settled and migrator. They were settled and migrator. And individual worth was known as the cow, ox, right? जो पेट है उसके पास, that was a wealth for them. Land तो था ही नहीं, मतलब land was not considered as a very much valuable. They were not settled basically, right? Land was ample, right? This is Ambedkar thesis. Let me tell you. Now, what happened? The person who had land or more ox basically put few person outside of the village to protect it. अब जब गार्ड होता है तो गार्ड का अंदर थोड़ी रखते हो, गार्ड को आप कहाँ रखते हो? घर के बाहर, so that we can be safe. So they were kept outside so that they can protect, right? Now these people of course had most wealth in terms of pet, and it used to be eaten by everyone. The beef was actually eaten by everyone. अगर आता था तो आराम से उसका, there was an unproductive cow used to be sacrificed, and then it used to be eaten collectively, and the rest part was sent to this person. इनको भी दिया जाता था, तुम भी खाओ, तुम भी मजे लो, right? Later on, what happens when Buddhism came and Jainism came, and they rejected the Brahmanism, right? Sacrifice, right? They actually talked about vegetarianism, Jainism and Buddhism, right? To become pure, conscious. Now, what happened? The settlers, the Brahmins, started abolishing eating non-veg, right? Eating non-veg, but they continued. The outside village, they continued, right? And later on, if you look at this, villager people actually started avoiding them. Got the idea? तुम अलग ही रहो, right? They were the broken man. Got the idea? How untouchability evolved according to Ambedkar. According to my brother, that is according to that book. I can't claim, right? कोई मुझे counter कर देगा, तुम बताओ तुम्हारे घर में कितने दिन खाए हैं? Now, see, there is one book, The Myth of Holy Cow. There is one book called Myth of Holy Cow, written by D.N. Jha. When D.N. Jha, Jha is a socially Brahmin. When he went to his hometown, people ask, tell me how many generation of you had eaten cow. You have justified Brahmin used to eat cow, right? So there is a different, now cow had become sacred, right? So sacred that people can be killed on the name of cow. Cow vigilantism. Have you heard about cow Gaurakshak Dal? Cow vigilantism. Anyway, Now, how untouchability actually appeared according to Ambedkar, right? According to Ambedkar, caste is a graded inequality. It is not equality. It is not like ladder, right? यहाँ पर ब्राह्मण बैठा है, यहाँ पर क्षत्रिय, यहाँ पे वैसे शूद्र और अति शूद्र. It is not so simple, right? Now within, you know, ये इससे नहीं छुआछूत करता है या बात करता है या शादी करता है, अलग बात है. ये इससे नहीं करता, वो अलग बात है. इसके अंदर भी the scheduled depressed classes are classes. They are not caste. There are many castes. Within depressed classes, you know, someone say, I am superior than this. Like, for example, Dhobi may say that I am superior to Jatab. Jatab may say I am superior to this. They may superior. सब अपने आप को ऊपर claim करता है, right? In 2000, one decade ago, I had some field work with among the Dom community. This is a community which actually do certain kind of work with BAM, traditional work in Bihar and Eastern UP. मैंने पूछा कि अच्छा बताओ आप थोड़ा आप अपना बताओ कि आपका जब ऊंचा नीचा जात होता है तो आप बोला हम तो बहुत ऊपर है, हमारे से नीचे भी डोम है, राइट? डोम में within dome community, dome is a one community, caste community, right? Untouchable of course, right? And they have 7 layers, right? And they don't intermarry and interdine among themselves. Let me tell you, right, how this graded inequality is deep rooted, right? It's deep rooted. So it's not कि इन दोनों में नहीं होता है, इनके अंदर भी नहीं होता है. ब्राह्मण तो कर लेते हैं आपस में शादी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल पाठक शर्मा से कर लेगा, शर्मा मिश्रा से कर लेगा, मिश्रा उससे कर लेगा, राइट? हो जाता है. यहां पर नहीं होता है. Let me tell you, the caste is more written here, right? And what Ambedkar said, the caste is a system of operation. It is a system of operation, right? Caste is maintained by 2 important components. One is endogamy. Have you heard about endogamy? Right? The marriage, the intra-caste marriage. The another is intradining. Caste was maintained from generation to generation by interdining and by intradining and intra-caste marriage. And Ambedkar actually gave call to annihilation of caste. Annihilation, have you heard about the word annihilation? क्या होता है annihilation का मतलब? छोड़ो उसको, हाँ हटा दो. वही होता है ना? Now he had given call to annihilation of caste, and he actually promoted inter-caste marriage. Look at today even Ambedkar Foundation gives money. 2.5 lakh रुपए मिलता है if someone do encourage inter-caste marriage. क्या आदित्य? हाँ? क्या 2.5 लाख? Ambedkar Foundation से? But this is promotion, right? और किसी ने मैं किसी एग्जाम में किसी स्टूडेंट को पढ़ा था, बोला सर शादी कर लेते हैं ऐसे झूठ मूठ का पैसे लेके, फिर से तोड़ लेंगे. मैंने कहा कि क्या ऐसा भी हो सकता है क्या? हाँ? Anyway, marriage is not something fun, right? It is not something fun, right? Anyway, so if you look at the caste was based on endogamous. If you look at there was a hierarchy within the caste. Look at the hierarchy, right? It was a block closed system where mobility is very much. जो यहाँ पर है ये इधर नहीं जाएगा. Each person has caste and each caste has a rank and order in society. Let me tell you, right? And the depressed classes were untouchable. Why they were untouchable? They were impure or they were broken man, right? Now even today, this caste consumes beef. So Ambedkar fought this in the court that we have right to eat beef. When the upper caste, protested against the beef eating in India. Beef eating is a very, debate, dangerous debate in India, right? Okay. Anyway, so now if you look at into in the constitution, we have opted abolition of untouchability in any form, right? For Ambedkar, caste was a varna was a caste is a Portuguese word. आपको पता है जो caste word है ना, it has come from the word casta, which is Portuguese word. We never use this. The first study of caste was done in Goa in 16th century by the Portuguese scholar. Right? We use the word varna or jati. Right? Caste का मतलब होता है pure breed. Right? Varna का मतलब होता है color. Within varna there are several jati. Right? समझ में आया कुछ कुछ? Right? So अगर आप देखोगे कास्ट सिस्टम का जो स्पेशल फीचर्स है, अगर कोई पूछे तो क्या क्या है? If someone asks you what are the features of caste system in India, there is the graded inequality. Then, sorry, ठीक है. Discrimination or notion of purity and pollution or hatred. Have you found caste hatred is there in India? Nobody have written now, till now. Right? Nobody have, there is no one single book on caste hatred. There is a caste hatred. There are communal hatred in India. But there is also caste hatred in India. Anyway. So, यही है Article 17 में. And if you look at the Constituent Assembly talked about the protection of the untouchables, right? And now if you look at Article 17 talks about that untouchability cannot be practiced in any form, right? And if you look at enforcement of any disability arising out of the untouchability shall be punishable offense according with the law. And आपके पास Article 17 पलटिए. Don't you have bear? Buy it as soon as possible. Read Article 17. Untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability shall be an offense punishable in accordance with law. तो दो बातें कहता है. शिवा, have you read it? Read it. Article 17. Ritik, read Article 17. Mani मन में पढ़ो. Vinay, where is your बैराग? तुम क्यों नहीं लेते हो? ये लो. किसके पास नहीं है? तुम्हारा कहाँ है? ये लाया था वो तो ना खरीद गए 5-5. ऋतिक लाया था सैटरडे में. Buy it. It will be helpful for you. Let me tell you. I'm a facilitator. Of your preparation journey. Right? चलो आर्टिकल 17 पढ़ो सब लोग. दो बातें कहता है. मुझे दोनों बातें बताओ. Yes, Asha. Vanita, read Article 17 and it tells two things. मुझे बताओ क्या दो बातें कहता है. क्या बातें कहता है बताइए. पढ़िए इसको. कल मेरी एक स्टूडेंट है जिसको मैंने मई जून में पढ़ाया था, पिछले मई जून में. And she was talking, she is revising and she is getting new meaning of the classes, right? बोला सर उस वक्त समझ में नहीं आया आपने क्या बोला. तो जब तक आप पढ़ेंगे नहीं ना, और आप जब तक फोकस नहीं करेंगे, राइट, तो मेरा पढ़ाया कोई काम नहीं आने वाला, राइट। बाद में रिवीजन करूंगा, अच्छा सर ये बात कहना चाहते थे, राइट, समझ नहीं आया था, राइट। हो सकता है आप अभी रिस्पॉन्ड ना करें, आप रिवोल्ट भी ना करें, कुछ समझ में आती है, कुछ समझ में नहीं भी आती है, ठीक है, सब कुछ बढ़िया ही है। Read Article 17 and tell me, it tells, basically it talks about two things. One is, yeah, it talks about abolition of untouchability of in any form. दूसरी बात क्या कहता है ये? It is a punishable offense by what? By the law. Yeah, in accordance with law, right? Untouchability, or it is punishable offense accordance with law. ऐसे नहीं किसी को देखा तो ऐसे आपने आपने खुद पनिश करने लग गए, होता है ना? एनी फॉर्म, कास्ट में जो कास्ट इज नॉट अ one form. Caste can be the multiple form. Untouchability can be in many forms. Right? Let me tell you one example. Consider one friend of you are SC community, right? And you are from upper caste, and he is actually doing some worship, some puja at home, and he called you to go. You have been there, and he have given some prasad, some food item to you as a prasad to go and take. Now later on, what you have done, you have thrown it. बाहर चले कि हाँ खा लेंगे, बहुत बढ़िया, प्रणाम प्रणाम, बाद में आपने फेंक दिया उसको. Now this is also a form of untouchability. It is a punishable offense. Got the idea? Or in somehow you have humiliated someone by the taking caste name, right? This is a punishable offense, right? Now it talks about the law. It is punishable offense under the law, not no one can punish except the law, rule of law. Now what are the law which actually prohibits untouchability? The one is the Untouchability Offences Act 1955, which was renamed as a Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. Right? There was if you look at in 1955, government passed Untouchability Offences Act. This was passed by the government in 1955. Right? According to this law, untouchability in any form or disability of a person due to this untouchability, right, it can be the punished by this law. But it was amended in 1976, and the law was renamed as a Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. In 1976, this law was amended. The law was renamed as Civil Rights Act, no? The Protection of Civil Rights Act. Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. 1955. That was done, renamed in 1976. This law actually punishes. Now, apart from this law, do you know any law, other law which punishes any disability of untouchability or? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like, if you know that there's another act that was passed in 1989, right? Government passed. It's called POA. Yeah, Prevention of Atrocities prevention of atrocities, STs, prevention of atrocities, prevention against, या POA एक्ट ऐसे ही है, कुछ नाम देख लीजिएगा, 1989. This is a law also punishes person, right? Got the idea? That is Article 17. ठीक है. रेस्ट यू विल स्टडी विद सोशल जस्टिस, इंडियन सोसाइटी में पढ़ोगे, राइट? मैं इसलिए आपको गवर्नेंस सिस्टम का जो फीचर्स है नहीं बताया या बहुत कुछ. रेस्ट यू नो, राइट? एससी इज अ लीगल टर्म, यू नो, पॉलिटिकल टर्म इतना पता है, राइट? बाद बाकी सोसाइटी में. नाउ लेट मी टॉक अबाउट आर्टिकल 18. विद दिस वी विल एंड अप राइट टू इक्वालिटी. हाँ, खत्म. बहुत दिन हो गया, 2 सप्ताह से यही चल रहा है. आप लोग भी बोर हो गए क्या सर? हाँ, खींचे जा रहे हैं. बट लेट मी टेल यू, दिस इज अ टाइम वेयर यू कैन इन्वेस्ट योर यू नो टाइम इन पर्टिकुलर डिशेस. ये बहुत भूल जाओगे आप, यू विल फॉरगेट इट. 1 महीने बाद आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कौन सा, सर कौन सा जजमेंट, उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा, सर कौन सा आर्टिकल, कौन सा क्लॉज. सर बड़ा दिक्कत है याद रखने में. दिक्कत तो होगा भाई, राइट? अभी मैं जैसे बढ़ा रहा हूं तो अभी आप आराम से सुन भी रहे हैं, और अभी जो याद करेगा वो इफेक्टिव होगा. नाउ यू रीड एंड रिवाइज नाउ, यू नो, थ्राइस, 4 टाइम, 5 टाइम, 10 टाइम्स, इट विल बी वेरी इफेक्टिव. नाउ बाद में जाकर तो रिवाइज तो करना ही है. जिसको पास करना है, जिसको क्रॉस करना है, उसको काम करना पड़ेगा. चाहे आज कर लो, चाहे कल कर लो. देयर इज नो एस्केप, है ना? स्केप तो है नहीं ना कि यार कल ऐसा होगा, कुछ ऐसा एआई मशीन आएगा कि मैं वो लगा के सीधा चला जाऊंगा और एग्जाम दे दूंगा. इसमें भी पॉसिबल, लेट मी टेल यू. बट गवर्नमेंट ने दूसरा लॉ निकाल दिया, राइट? यू नो, द गवर्नमेंट हैज एक्चुअली पास्ड अ लॉ अगेंस्ट चीटिंग ना. चीटिंग, लीकेजेस ऑफ पेपर, इट इज अ पनिशेबल ऑफेंस. फंस गए तो गए. राइट? यस यस. There's a lots of, if you look at मध्य प्रदेश, उत्तर प्रदेश, you know, मैं एक एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. एसएससी का एग्जाम जानते हो, स्टाफ सिलेक्शन कमीशन का, 3-4 बार से लीक हो रहा है पेपर, राइट? नाउ इफ यू लुक एट बीपीएससी, लोग एग्जाम दे जाते हैं, दूसरे दिन पता चलता है पेपर पहले लीक था. हुआ था ना, पिछले साल हुआ था, इस बार भी हुआ है. लुक, दिस इज वेरी मच हिलेरियस. नहीं, even government cannot control it. Look at what kind of morality and ethics the bureaucrat have. और ब्यूरोक्रेट ही तो लीक करता होगा ना, राइट? वो वही लीक करता होगा, किसी की भी लालच में. लालच कुछ भी हो सकता है, राइट? एनीवे, नाउ लुक एट आर्टिकल 18. बट हाँ, यूपीएससी में नहीं होता ऐसा. यूपीएससी हैज अ वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट रिकॉर्ड, है ना, इट्स गुड रिकॉर्ड. Now let me talk about abolition of title. Now if you see, the British government came and actually it had given so many titles like Rai Sahab, Rai Jada, right, Nabab or this or that, right, Sir, Knighthood, Kesar Hind, बहुत सारे इन्होंने दिया था. Now in the Constituent Assembly it was debated कि this, you know, this suffix, because it shows privileges, it shows, you know, certain privileges that person have, and they used to write like sir this, right? Now this should be abolished. And if you look at this article 18 was exactly the abolition of all titles, right? Look at article 18 clause 1. It says no title not being a military or academic distinctions shall be conferred by state. The state shall not confer, the state will not give any kind of award except military or educational. Second, it says no citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. Right? No citizen of India shall accept title from any foreign state. Third, it says no person who is not a citizen of India shall, while he holds any office of profit or trust under the state, accept without the consent of the president any title from foreign state. Fourth, no person holding any office of profit or trust under the state shall, without the consent of the president, accept any present, emoluments, and office of any kind from the or under any foreign state. Any state will not provide any kind of title, or the citizen cannot take any kind of title or any kind of emolument, any kind of gift from the foreign state. Now, if you see, in 1954, what happened? The government of India have introduced, a reward system, right? There was a 4 award had been constituted in 1954, and that was Bharat Ratna, Padam Bhushan, Padam Vibhushan, and Padam Shri. Bharat Ratna is higher, then Padam Vibhushan is a second, then Padam Bhushan, and then Padam Shri. Now, that award was given to many legendary, right? And the first time when the non-Congress government came to power in 1977, the Janata Party government actually stopped giving reward, right? Padam Bhushan or ye or this or that. Now, later on, if you look at when Janata Party, Congress regained power in 1980, it again initiated giving reward, right, of this Bharat Ratna, Padam Bhushan, and Padam Shri. Now, in 1996, one person has actually challenged the case in the court, and his name was Balaji Raghavan. That this title actually is this reward is against the abolition of Article 80. Now, in this case, Supreme Court held that this award or reward is not a title. In Balaji Raghavan case, Bharat Ratna or any Padam Vibhushan or Padam Shri is not a title, right? The people cannot use it as a prefix or suffix, whatever. आप नहीं कह सकते कि पद्म श्री लालू प्रसाद यादव, right? Movie बनी थी पद्म श्री लालू प्रसाद यादव, but Lalu Prasad cannot use is a Padam Shri, whatever. So if you look at, this reward is not a title under the state. ठीक है? बालाजी राघवन केस पता चल गया क्या कहता है? These titles are not a reward. Now how many times it has withhold? How many times it was paused? Twice. One by the Janata Party government, other was by the BP Singh government. Right? Again, the Narasimha Rao government came to power, and then it actually started giving reward. है ना? इसमें लिखा हुआ है शायद. देखो ना, BP Singh government came and it again discontinued giving award. तो मैंने कहा सब लिखा हुआ है इसमें. Yeah. Did you get the idea, Vanita, Asha? Lots of teaching I have done today. Now lots of homework. क्योंकि मैंने कुछ dictation नहीं कराया है. But you make notes. Let me tell you. You make notes. Right to equality का. And tomorrow we'll talk about right to. अच्छा कल तो है नहीं, Monday को. Right to freedom. Article 19. A very interesting, section in polity. Right to freedom. तो जो मैंने नहीं लिखा है उसका नोट्स बनाना है, नोट्स का सहारा लेना है. आज अगर आपने कुछ लिखा, कुछ नोट डाउन किया, उसका भी सहारा लेना है, राइट? एंड जस्ट यू हैव डेवलप अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, conceptual understanding, and also facts you should know. है ना? Facts you should know, right? And whenever you attempt, try to minimize the human error. Human error. ह्यूमन एरर बहुत होता है, राइट, वो नहीं करना है, ठीक है। So with this I'll stop here. See you on Monday. All the best for tomorrow. Do well, and we can discuss those test paper later on. ठीक है। इसके साथ बैराक को भी पढ़ते जाना है, राइट। लक्ष्मीकांत का क्या छोड़ दिया, उसको पढ़ लोगे तो अच्छा रहेगा, राइट। अदरवाइज बहुत सारे लक्ष्मी, इधर से लक्ष्मीकांत का ही है जो मैंने इधर नोट्स में, सारा नहीं है, बहुत है सर, बहुत सारा चीज है यहाँ पर जो लक्ष्मीकांत में नहीं है, राइट।